Hi guys, and welcome to my latest video. This is going to be episode 5 of my Reseller Reality series, where I take you guys through what I've sold over the past week, how much for, and more importantly, how much actual profit have I made selling on eBay as a business from home. Just to give you guys a real insight as to what you can achieve when you're doing this for yourselves, depending on whether you want to do it full-time, part-time, or depending how much effort you want to put in or not, as the case may be. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my browser view so I can just show you guys my more valuable or interesting sales of the week. And then we'll go through the spreadsheet as usual, which, by the way, has had a really good response. And if you guys want to use my spreadsheet, you can actually check out my other video, which gives you a quick run through on how to use it. And you can also find the link to my website as well, which will then where you can actually then download the spreadsheet for free and use it for yourselves. So I'm really happy that it's helping some people out. I really appreciate the positive feedback it's gotten. Anyway, let me just switch over to the web browser view, and then I can just show you guys some of my more valuable sales. And we're going to start off here with this awesome Pioneer stereo amp made in Japan. Usual thing. I paid a fiver for this, tested it out, and it sold for £60, which I'm very happy with. It was missing one of its control selector knobs, and bear in mind, guys, when you're selling things like amps, yes, it's good money from 5 to 60, can't complain, but there's a lot of work that goes in terms of testing them. So if you're not going to be quick at testing them or efficient at testing them, it may not work out to as good kind of value for your time and money, because you've got to make sure that all the inputs are working. You've got to make sure that everything's working as it should. And even at some point, it is not a bad idea to let these things run in the background, like playing a bit of music while you're working or whatever, just to make sure that it's not going to switch off or overheat after about 20 minutes, and then you get an unhappy customer. So that was my first sale. Second item I want to show you here is, there we go. Second item I want to show you is the Sony Discman, which is another regular kind of pickup of mine. I only pay like £1 or something for this. Sold for 20. Can't go wrong. Nice simple sell. Sony CD players, always worth picking up. So simple job there. Next item, this is a little bit of a surprising one. It was a Panasonic portable radio. It can take battery or run off of a figure-of-8 power cable, and it was surprising because it's just a plain FM medium wave, long wave radio. I paid a fiver for it. It's only made in China. It's nothing special about it. It's not particularly old, but obviously radios in this format are becoming, more rare, and it sold for £35. So I was actually pretty happy with that. Next item, this is really cool. This is a vintage typewriter. Vintage typewriters are readily available, especially when boot fair season starts. And most people tend to only ask about like fiver or maybe a tenner. But here's a brand to look out for. It's the Smith Corona brand, and this one is the floating shift model. Really cool typewriter, made in the USA, which is obviously a really good selling point. I should have actually put that in the title. I didn't. It may have been because there weren't enough characters left. But it's definitely something I would have normally put in the title. And from £5, this is sold for £80, and I think it went to France via the GSP, so really good sale. Next item is a Samsung DVD video combi, paid a fiver, sold it for 40. Pretty standard stuff. These things are very popular. DVD video combos definitely worth picking up, especially the ones which are the better brands. So, for example, Samsung is probably as low as you want to go, in my opinion. But then things like, obviously, look out for the JVCs, the Sonys, the Panasonics. Those will bring even more money. Toshiba's, if they're the right kind as well. Next item, this is something I've had sitting around for a while. It's a Plants vs Zombies plush, where it was one of those amusement park prizes. I think I picked it up for 50p or £1 at the boot fair, and it just recently sold, and I'm guessing it's due to the fact that there's a Garden Warfare 2 game, Plants vs Zombies game, which is out on the Xbox, or it's coming out, one of the two. So that went for £12 with free postage. This is one of my really nice sales of the week. I was really chuffed about this. If you're on the Facebook group, you may have seen me post that I picked this up for £20 at a boot fair at the weekend, and during the week I took an offer of £125 shipped to France. Really nice sale. It's a cash register. It's quite unique. It's not often that you see these. It's not the kind of thing I normally pick up. But bear in mind that when you go to buy one of these new, I did a bit of research, you're looking at around £350 to buy a new cash register, so to buy the new version of this. So for a shopkeeper to pick one up for 125, they're going to be happy, and I'm most certainly happy with the profit I've made out of it as well. Next up is a vintage genuine compressed fiber suitcase. It didn't have the keys, unfortunately, but I held out for £25. Took a little longer to sell than the one I had with keys. That sold very quickly, but still for £25 I'm very happy. I think I paid like a fiver for it, or I think I paid like 250 for this. I'm not sure. I think so. Anyway, next item, a good cell record player. I did a bit of research. This is the kind of record player that would have been used in school halls back in the day. It had the ability to be plugged into an external speaker as well as having its own internal speaker. I tested it out with a record, works fine. It could probably do with a bit of TLC, but from I think a fiver, or I think maybe max a tenner, but I think it was a fiver to get £150 is just awesome. And the funny thing is that people underprice these things. These things can be, if you look at completed listings, some of these record players are sold at auctions for silly prices, because just at that moment there was no one looking for one, and it was collection only, and it sold for nothing. And it's not a true reflection of the value. If you think you've got something rare, you can go against the grain sometimes and ask for more money. And I think this is a case of that, because I was seeing some of these selling for substantially less than 150. So I'm pretty happy with what I got there. Final item I want to show you guys is a Moore and Wright micrometer. I actually picked up a couple of these in a job lot from auction, so it cost me about $2.20. I only sold it for $10.99, so not a great amount of profit, but it was an interesting item because it's not the kind of thing I usually get hold of and sell. But this kind of vintage stuff is definitely piquing my interest, probably from hanging around people like Ken Chapman for too long. His knowledge on this stuff is amazing, and Neil Borden as well. Amazing guys, and they've got an eye for some interesting items, and I highly recommend that anyone out there checks out their posts on the forums and checks out their videos as well, which are really knowledgeable. So fantastic stuff there. So that's pretty much the situation with my sales. What I sold, those were my 10 more interesting items that I sold in the past week. And the week itself, in terms of results, because we were about to go into the spreadsheet, was pretty good. I basically sold £61 worth of stuff for 640 quid. So I'm going to take you over to the spreadsheet to show you. So I'm pretty happy with the week. Here we are. And you can see there the spreadsheet. Those are the items I sold. And the cool thing about this is, even though I'm not exactly where I want to be, I mean, I'd be very happy if I made £638 of sales every week, as a given. I'd be pretty happy with that. However, it's not exactly where I want to be. I'm not doing this just to do okay. I want to resell because I want to do it successfully, and I really enjoy it. And there's nothing like the buzz of selling something. And unfortunately, I mean, you can look at it as a good or a bad thing. I've had another week where I've not had many transactions. I only sold 18 items last week, so it's not that much. I have in the past, like I said, I've in the past consistently sold about 100 to 120 items a month. So this is a significant drop on that. However, what I have noticed is my average selling price has gone up. So in a way, it's good because it means I'm doing less transactions, but I'm still getting higher value sales. And you can see that obviously in the turnover. So £638 of turnover from 18 transactions. Now, after you take off all the costs, the eBay, PayPal fees, the insertion fees, the delivery fees, and you take away the cost of the actual items, the £61, I'm left with £433.50 actual profit, which obviously then needs to be taxed and national insurance, which is 67% profit on return. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I could do that weekly, That's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's not amazing. It's not, like I said, it's not where I want to be, but it's definitely on the right path. And I'm hoping to at least be able to manage to do this. Now, I'm painfully aware that last month, if you guys were watching my other episodes of Reseller Reality, I did have a really good month, a really good week in February, and then the other 3 weeks were not so good, where I was doing about £400 turnover. Though that wasn't amazing. So what we want to really aim for is what I want to aim for is to at least be doing, the £600, £600 minimum turnover a week. And obviously I want the profit to be there as well. So 67% profit on return so far. I'm pretty happy with that. You can see there that overall my profit on return average per item is not bad. Didn't have any really low ones. I think my lowest profit on return was actually the micrometer, which only got me 40%. Because £2.20, sold it for £10.99 after costs. I only made £4.43 profit, which was out of the £10.99 sale, so only 40% profit on return. And then my best profit on return was actually 75%, which is actually a couple of postcards I sold to China. That's pretty cool. But there wasn't a great deal of value there. Obviously, you can see I only made £7.52 profit out of a £9.98 sale. But still happy with that. That's a good percentage. And then the typewriter got me a 70% profit on return. There you go, 80% profit on return on the Good Sell record player. That's my best one. That was a £10 cost. Sold it for 150. After fees, I made 120. So that's my sale of the week, I guess. The Good Sell record player. So it just shows, guys. I think I'm pretty happy with that first week. If we can build on it, I'd be really happy. Even if we could stay at least at £600 a month, I think for March, I'd be pretty pleased with myself. So clearing about £430 before tax. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you're finding these useful. If they stop becoming useful at any point, I will stop doing them, because I don't want to just keep sticking them out there. Also, like I said, if you want to use that spreadsheet, it will be available. It is available on my website, which I'll leave a link for below, where you can then go there and download it. And there is also a video on my channel on how to use the spreadsheet. It's pretty simple, but just in case. And if you've got any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Really appreciate all comments and questions. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.